Welcome to Left Back in the Changing Room.
Way!
Hello listeners, we're back. Game week 10.
Game week 10.
Made it into double figures. No one thought that at the beginning of the season that we would be here into double figures, into 10 boys.
Double figures?
Very happy.
I think we've made it more weeks than United have points.
I think we were on a par, mate. 10 each. 10 each. Touche. Didn't lose this week either.
Almost got the 3 points.
As you've heard, listeners, I'm here. I'm joined by the likely lads. We've got Ricky Pellegrini, the main man.
Hey!
And we've got Sean, the not John, but he is John, the John McGinn fanboy.
Something like that.
Hey!
And then we've got the other guy, the Jurgen Klopp wannabe. It's Neil Van Dijk. NVD.
I've actually got my glasses and baseball cap on today, just like Jurgen Klopp.
That's why, there's a resemblance there,
Love
mate.
child.
What a week it's been, gentlemen.
Yeah.
What a fantastic week. Sean, the John McGinn fanboy, you've completed a marathon in the last week. Or was it 2 weeks? Congrats, mate. Chicago Marathon.
Jimmy Ferguson.
Jimmy Ferguson, Sean McGinn, we all ran it. Captain Russ was there as well. Captain Russ was running around.
And we're back on the hard stuff this week.
Yeah.
Gotta say, lads, fantastic result doing the Chicago Marathon, and yeah, very proud of you, lads. A little tear came to my eyes. I saw you all cross the line.
Do you know what actually
virtually.
got me through that? Was the first half was the perfect line
First half of Left Back in the Changing
for our
Room.
left back in the changing room last week's episode, and that just kept me going. So any runners out there, get the podcast on whilst you're running, pass the time, go.
There you go.
Hey.
It works. It works. The podcast works.
Listen to Left Back in the Changing Room and you too can complete a marathon.
Yeah, we don't endorse it, but you can try. Any problems, any issues?
We take no
We blame Neil Van
responsibility.
Dijk. And one other fantastic event. Since we last spoke to you all, thank you to the lads around this table. Saturday night, stag do at New York City. It's 1 week till I'm getting married, and the boys took me out on the stag do on Saturday, and what a event that was!
Blinding though.
Oh
we loved
my
it.
god!
Someone remind me what happened.
Yeah.
I'm still getting over the hangover, mate. I mean, it was full of everything, wasn't it? Ricky, take us through it.
Oh, mate, fantastic. Started off at the Village Beer Parlour, onto a few other bars, and then we ended up on a party bus with a load of random Americans. About 30 people on this bus. It was
Beautiful random
wood
Americans.
panelling in the inside of this bus. And then Jimmy blagged his way into a Marriott rooftop bar, which was
done.
Great fun.
Pina
up there as
colada
well.
I had up there.
Charge you
Beautiful.
$3 to take your jacket, which I wasn't happy about. And then went to Fiddlesticks, and then we all lost each other and got
Finished it off with a pizza and went,
And guess who the last man standing was? It was none other than Jimmy Ferguson himself. So
It was, guys. If you met me in Fiddlesticks that night, no doubt I was telling you all about the podcast. People could not get rid of me. I was just telling everyone. That's why I was still out. I was spreading the word.
Any listeners we gained, thank you for making it.
Yeah,
very
thanks so much. Guys, we digress. We've had a good intro there. And I think before we jump into things this week, the guys here, we are not often serious. We're quite a jokey bunch of lads, but we have got a serious topic to talk about, and I think it's very apt and necessary that we broach and approach this. We were absolutely appalled by the international game week, the events that happened in Bulgaria. Racist taunts towards our own players is not accepted. Racism in any form is not accepted, not just to our players, to anybody. We're a bunch of lovers here at Left Back in the Changing Room. We're very unhappy about what happened. We want to make sure we put it out there and everyone understands that it isn't correct, it's not right. I'm, not the only voice that you're going to listen to probably, but I'm going to make my own stance, and everyone around this table, we're all in agreement.
You said it so well, Jimmy. It's obviously been a hot topic, especially the last few weeks, dealing with how UEFA are going to react and FIFA, and quite honestly, they're not making a big enough impact.
It's disgusting behaviour.
It's disgusting, and you know what? I'm glad we got the massive win over Bulgaria. Even the players were protesting with their own fans, trying to calm them down and look, just trying to talk sense into some of the fans. But it just wasn't happening. You can't talk sense into idiots. Usually a minority in some of these grounds, but unfortunately it seems to be coming up again and again, especially in these international games
it is
across
sad
Europe.
because every single club and every single country, they have these fans are like that, these complete idiots.
They do nothing for the game.
And that does not make it right at all, They're there and they should not be.
And in all fairness, the Bulgarians, the fans were kicked out at half time. It was what needed needed to happen. With that important point said, we're moving on then to this week's agenda, and we've had a lot of emails come in this week, and people have been moaning we've been spending too much time on the games. They want to know how we're doing in fantasy, Gen. So we're going to change the agenda up slightly this week. We're going to look at our fantasy league ourselves. We're going to talk about how everyone did last week. Then we'll go for our rambling from the dugout. We've got Desmond from Liverpool, I believe. Liverpool! He's on the line. He'll be dialing in, so we'll take that question from Desmond. Then we'll go obviously into part 2, where we'll look at the fixtures coming ahead next week and who you should really be looking to get in your team. And then we finish it off with captain choices. So all that said, our league. NYC Brit Street Boys.
I'm making some
How
progress.
did it go? Sean John McGinn fanboy.
Sean John McGinn fanboy. 56
points.
points. A massive, above the average result there.
Top level it very quickly. Sean has scaled the heights of the table. He's had a blinding week. He's moved himself from 8th position into 3rd.
Massive.
He's in the top 3. Massive movement. Russell, the Captain Russ, he's still in 2nd. He didn't have a great week. Ricky Pellegrini, you've had
Disappointing.
got anyone to come in? I know the tables are getting updated, but you're still in 1st, mate.
I'm still in 1st. I got Lunsford to come in. Thank goodness for the clean sheet against Arsenal for Sheffield United this evening. Otherwise, I'd be in dire straits. Funny enough, my highest scoring player was the Everton player, Digne, who I just managed to just keep in. I was actually going to swap him out because obviously Everton have been terrible of late until they obviously beat the Hammers. So,
and he only did 6 points.
He was a saving grace.
Yeah,
it's close, especially between 1st and 6th.
Yeah, so we've got Neil Van Dijk in 8th, and then you've got myself in 7th. So only really one place to start, isn't there? Sean, the John McGinn fanboy, he's smashed it this week. 56 points. What was the average this week? Anyone know?
30 at the moment.
At the moment it was
30.
That'll
probably
update once people's
strong.
substitutes
And the
come
highest was 98.
So, Sean, take us through it. How have you done that? 56.
I mentioned last week when you gave my captain choices, for the first time I wanted to stay away from Aguero.
Yeah,
and I said that earlier in the week. I just kind of thought something wasn't right there, and then you saw the headlines come up later about the car crash, etc. I thought, hey, it doesn't look like a good week for him. I'm kind of reluctant, actually. You're reading all this news, and don't want to say too much to you boys before picking your team, hoping that a few of you would keep him as captain, So
yeah.
working in the favour, but then I went for Vardy instead. Opted for Jamie there, being on fire again at home. He scored a good header there, took his goal well, and getting 2 bonus points as well. So 8 points. Decent return, and especially in this game week where there's not so much big scoring going on, double that up to 16. He drives a big portion of the return.
And what happened with Aguero? Was he driving or was he just in the car?
Yeah, he was driving, I believe.
And he crashed the car?
He crashed the car, yeah. And he's still trained fully, but hey, something, I don't know what. Danny Wings, yeah, exactly.
9 points.
Takes his goal well, finishes it, and he gets 3 bonus points as well.
I noticed you got Traore in there, John McGinn.
I did.
I did the same thing.
I actually brought him in for Cantwell. I don't know if you did the same.
I did exactly the same, mate.
I don't know, did Cantwell get 3 points this week?
He
I think
did,
Traore
mate. He got 1 extra than
He
Traore.
got 2, so that wasn't a great
Stuck
move.
with my boy with the perm.
What a perm.
What a perm.
I was pretty disappointed when Manny's goal got disallowed as well for the handball. I thought that was some other points that was getting in there, and I didn't quite see who the assist from the back, the long ball. I thought
Robertson.
It might have been Robertson.
Robertson. So you got 8 points for Robertson.
No, but for the disallowed one as well.
Oh,
I don't know. And I was cheering, and then VAR again, and I don't know, VAR. But anyway,
VAR.
I mean, in all fairness, mate, it hit his hand.
It
Can't
did.
do that sort of thing in the modern day game.
Can't
It's
say that.
kind of cheating, isn't it? Let's be honest.
It's a bit like fouling Origi and then going on to score a goal, but we'll come on to that
The guy jumped on the floor. It wasn't even a
Before
foul.
we get into your team, Pellegrini, what happened to West Ham?
Oh, mate, I was very disappointed. I did actually call it last week. I was probably the only one who's saying I think Everton are going to get a result, really. But just because West Ham have this tendency to be superb for a few weeks and just not consistent enough. It's always when a team is striving for a win, of course they break that duck against West Ham. And to be honest, we didn't turn up. First half, just didn't have enough passion. They beat us at every first and second ball. Gomez in the middle of the park was just bullying our whole midfield, just got himself on everything, and they were just too much for us at Goodison Park.
Bernard just kind of danced his way around your
I was
defence and
disappointed with
squirmed
that.
in the goal.
I was
That
disappointed.
really was poor defending, wasn't it?
Poor defending, and the goalkeeper got beat on his near post, which is terrible.
It was firstly a horrendous decision from Bernard not to shoot first time, and I thought,
Yes.
what's he doing? This is
Yeah.
He redeemed
ridiculous.
himself, to be fair, though.
Roberto did help him.
Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, I was a bit gutted. Really disappointed in one player. I don't want to pinpoint anyone in West Ham's team, but someone who's let me down. We had high hopes in the beginning of the season. Pre-season he looked really good. He's been playing for the Spanish under-21 side. Is Pablo Fornals. He looked like a kind of Lanzini creative midfield, but everything he touched just rolled off him. He had a bad first touch. His head's not in the game. I don't want to batten down on him too much, but I just feel like he's got to catch up with the pace of the Premier League because he's just not looking very good.
How many seasons has he had?
This is his first season in the Premier League. He's still a young lad. Yarmolenko replaced him eventually and obviously looked really good. He did really well for Ukraine. Got 2 goals for Ukraine in the international break. He did make a difference in the second half. Haller the Hammer, to be honest, he did well, but there's no one stepping up close enough to Haller to really make him effective.
Is Lanzini not doing it? 2 points this week?
Since he's come back from injury, he just doesn't look on the pace, mate, to be honest. Yeah, the start of the season, he was our best player.
Yeah, but when you do get injured, and he's only been back in, 2 weeks? I think it takes a bit of time.
Yeah, Cresswell was out, he was injured as well, and he's been doing good of late. Long story short, I think for West Ham, I think we have to just look to bounce back against Sheffield United next week and just forget about this result because, to be honest, at 1-0, we could have still been back in the game. You might have seen we had a couple of close range efforts that were unlucky not to score, but I think Everton overall deserved the game. And Sigurdsson, he came on only like within some points, right? He absolutely smashed it in the top corner. Cracking goal.
Yeah, it was a good
out of the whole Everton team, I have to say 5.3 million for Andre Gomez. He's not really going to get your points in FPL, unfortunately. He's one of those defensive midfielders, but as a footballer in that centre mid, what a player.
Going back to your team though, John, not the John McGinn fanboy. 2 questions I want to first ask the group, especially Danny Ings, right? He's got 9.
Danny Wings,
9.
It's coming to form, isn't it?
9, 7, and 9 in his last 3. He's 5.9
I've been calling it,
and he's only selected 2.1% by FPL managers.
I remember.
Is he kind of go-to cheap-ish striker to have? I mean,
3 weeks ago, I said Danny Ings has scored 2 goals from goalkeepers passing the ball to him. He's had his luck for the season, and since then he's listened and he's put in 2 goals, one against Chelsea, one against Wolves. I haven't seen the Wolves goal, but I wouldn't get him personally.
Yeah, but what's surprising
with
him? Yeah, so this week he got 3 bonus points. Last week against Chelsea, they got beat 4-1. He still got a bonus point. The week before against Spurs, again they got beat. He still got 3 bonus points. He's picking up points otherwise. And
he's got
he's
5.
done a lot of running, a lot of passing off the ball, and it's good to see him converting some. But
we've got to dissect these bonus points. I'm not really sure how they're being given because
it's based on the Opta stats, mate. It's down to Opta stats, the best performing players of the game. It's also down to if the goalkeeper makes 3 saves or more, they get a bonus point automatically.
The bonus points are then separate from the goalkeeper's points.
Yes, it is separate to that. Yeah. So a goalkeeper will automatically get that.
They will get,
but the rest of the team. It's the top 3 players. The way they're scored before they get those bonus points is all through Opta stat. Key passes, creativity, chances.
Tackles one,
exactly. The top 3 players. If 2 players have scored level on points, then they both get the same bonus points.
I mean, it's interesting you say that because I saw, he didn't really do that much and he's got the 3 bonus points. I'm sure some money's exchanging hands somewhere along the way here. And a few emails might have been in there from...
But yeah,
But Sean, one thing...
But he is actually the top striker in terms of form.
Yeah.
Really?
5 and 4. Wow. 5 goals in 4 games.
Ings and then Vardy.
Fantastic.
The top 2 forms.
And you've got them both, mate.
I do, right in there. So.
But I mean, more importantly, Sean, you played your bench boost.
You did it, mate. You did.
The old benchy.
He's bench boost, everyone.
He's benchy on.
So we didn't say this before to the fans, but you did get the most points, but Sean, the John McGinn family, did play as bench boost.
So let me walk
what
you
was
through
behind the thinking?
My thoughts behind that before I tell you how it worked out. I thought, looking at my team going into the week, there has to be sometimes you use a bench boost, and a lot of people will try and save it for a double week.
Yep.
How many of those will get remains to be seen. And your triple captain, a lot of people will also use on that double week. So you have to use it another time. Coming off the international games, I looked at my team, everyone was fully fit. There was no one, and we had to say it about Aguero, but he wasn't officially down with a knock. Everyone looked like they were playing. And I looked against my opposition and I thought it's time for players to pick up points. The games looked favourable. So I went with it, and it did get the most points, so that was good. What kind of screwed me over was the fact that the best player on my bench, Ings, would have came in anyway, given that Aguero didn't get in. Mm-hmm. So that was actually 0 extra points. Although he got 9, I would have got them anyway. Wolves defender Cody and Aurier for Spurs got 1 and 2 points respectively. So I got a grand total of 3 extra points. So it wasn't very great. It was kind of a waste. I also thought McGovern, after we said he came on last week against Villa for Norwich, and then he saved the penalty. He played, the full 90 minutes. I thought he would have remained his place in goals, and I didn't see Bournemouth scoring into him, so I thought that was some more points there, and they dropped him. I don't know why. I don't know what
He did let in like 5 goals, didn't he, the week before?
Yeah, but remember we said he had let in 5 goals, but he actually had 7 saves.
7 saves.
So he actually... and that actually gave him
2 bonus points.
Which says a lot about a keeper.
So
though,
I thought
right?
it wasn't necessarily his fault, and they would have kept him in the team. I don't know. To be honest, I don't.
And he saved a penalty.
I don't follow Norwich